Mr. Speaker, today I stand here to lend my full support, my unwavering support to the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget before this Honorable House for debate. And Mr. Speaker, I do so with confidence. As I have noted, I have witnessed the transformation of this beautiful island we call Dominica. Yes, I am indeed confident that this Labour Party's vision, presented in the form of policies and programs in the fiscal year 24-25 budget, and I must add, clearly articulated by our Minister for Finance in his address, will, Mr. Speaker, will have the desired effect and benefit the lives of each and every one of us here in Dominica, on our national economy as well, and certainly push us even further along our development path towards the dynamic Dominica that this great Dominica Labour Party has promised. Mr. Speaker, think back at the last few budget addresses. Can't you see the thread? Yes, Mr. Speaker, we, this Dominica Labour Party government, we have long begun the process of building dynamic Dominica. And I say to you, we've been doing so block by block. Or someone might challenge me and say, maybe I should say instead, project by project, program by program. This is what we heard from the Minister of Finance. The plans and programs of this Labour Party government to implement in fiscal year 24-25 that will diversify the Dominican economy, stimulate growth, and build the infrastructure to further diversify this economy to benefit everyone. This Labour Party government is continuing to lay the foundation as we build dynamic Dominica for our people. And Mr. Speaker, who want to come on board, jump on board. Who want to stay down can stay down, but everyone is welcome, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, that's nothing new. It's been many years ago. I remember many years ago as a new member in this honorable chamber. Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm thinking all the way back to 2017, when I said in this honorable house that following a review of the accomplishments of this Labour government, that my hope had turned into excitement as I saw unfolding right before my eyes the development plan for Dominica led by this Labour Party government to modernize our beautiful island and to continue to forge ahead, making Dominica a better place for all of us. And today, Mr. Speaker, the unfolding of this amazing development plan is even more visible. So much so, I can say that it is so clear that even a blind man can see. And today, Mr. Speaker, with that realization, I left the Honorable House on Friday on cloud nine, eagerly looking forward to the swift approval of the budget so that my constituents can begin benefiting from the programs and policies and projects of this budget. But yet again, driven by my confidence that this budget was not simply a transformational one, but also one that is timely and suited for the times, and by that I mean it was tailored for us as a people, we as a country. We are going to as per the promise of our Prime Minister, member for the Vacas constituency at his last press conference in July 15, 2024. But Mr. Speaker, the debate didn't go off or start off like I thought it would. Alas, the honorable member for the Margaret constituency was given the opportunity to rebut. Not often am I at a loss for words, Mr. Speaker. In spite of the fact that the member started off, rightly so, acknowledging the advancements locally since Maria, he then went off on a tangent. Was that really what happened, though? Did he really go off on a tangent, Mr. Speaker? Maybe rambling is a better word, but I'm not sure if it's parliamentary, so probably I shouldn't say it that way. But you understand what I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, because you were there. Because the member was joking with most of us most of the time. Right, Mr. Speaker? I don't know about the rest of the House, but I sure hope he was only kidding with us. So, Mr. Speaker, at dinner on Monday night, I raised it with him. And he explained to me, people in my community know that I like to make people laugh. So my constituents expect that of me. That is who I am. So, Mr. Speaker, I have decided, so Mr. Speaker, I have decided that I'm going along with his story. He was entertaining us in this honorable house on Monday. Thank you, honorable member. Honorable member for the Margaret constituency as a parliamentary colleague, let me share some advice if you are older than you are. The next time somebody writes a speech for you, read it yourself. Well, please see how much I remember. But anyway, the next time somebody writes a speech for you, I suggest you read it first before you get in here, okay? I say to you that I would not, and you shouldn't allow anyone to make you say koshoni. Oops, did I use unparliamentary language? I withdraw, Mr. Speaker. But your people expect you to say things that are funny. This is what this is a stand-up comedy at Tranmere, if we're doing stand-up comedy in the Honorable House. Mr. Speaker, seriously, in my humble opinion, it was the same old, same old. And what I mean by that, the very same rhetoric that we heard from the former opposition. And as I stand here, I'm thinking out loud, could it be something in the AC units blowing on that side of the house? Because, Mr. Speaker, I don't understand what's going on. Yet again, all we hear from that side of the house is doom and gloom. Mr. Speaker, I think we need to check the AC because it cannot be, something is wrong with that side of the house. I am happy that I am on this side. Come in. Mr. Speaker, look at this morning. We received an excellent, comprehensive update from the Honorable Minister for Agriculture. Mr. Speaker, data, numbers, detailed facts. Then the Honorable Senator stood up this morning. No data, zero facts, and had the nerve to suggest that nothing major is happening in agriculture. Mr. Speaker, something is wrong with that. Mr. Speaker, that I humbly ask you, do you think that was an attempt to be dishonest? Yes. Or maybe that too is unparliamentary. So, Mr. Speaker, instead I say, she's just trying to pull wool over people's eyes. But before I go into details on how this Labour government is building that platform for sustainable growth and development, please allow me a little leeway, Mr. Speaker, to place fiscal year budget 24-25 into perspective. By that I mean, I wish to speak briefly, very briefly, and share some thoughts through you. Honorable Speaker, to the members of this honorable chamber, and to Dominicans far and wide, the prevailing circumstances and conditions under which this government operates is important. We are a small open economy. And what does that mean? It means that whatever is happening globally will have a huge impact on us. And as they say in the US, as they say when the US sneezes, we catch a cold. That is how intertwined and how linked we are to that economy. Nonetheless, despite all the headwinds from high inflation, high global interest rates, and their restricting impact on global economic growth, our economy has remained buoyant, and the data is proof of this. Indeed, the data shows that our economy is growing strongly in real terms, not just nominally because prices are higher. Dominica's real GDP is increasing at a relatively fast rate when compared to that of our neighbors, and the data confirms this. This, in my humble opinion, is proof that what the Honorable Minister of Finance said in his conclusion of his address is in fact true. And I want to recall what the Minister of Finance says, Mr. Speaker, and I quote, "We have always punched above our weight and exceeded expectations. And despite the current difficulties in the world economy, this government will continue to make smart, calculated decisions to build the foundation for long-term prosperity. And this is exactly, end quote, and this is exactly what this year's budget is doing. And I will prove that this is correct, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the data reveal that in spite of the uncertainty globally, our local economy has held its own. Finance Minister knew what he was saying. One might go further to say that our economy has experienced relatively strong growth in the past few years, despite a number of exogenous shocks. Mr. Speaker, a quick glance at the most recent World Economic Outlook WEO, published by the International Monetary Fund in July of 2024, revealed an assessment, and I quote that assessment, quote, global growth is projected to be in line with the April 2024 World Economic Outlook forecast at 3.2% in 2024 and 3.3% in 2025. Mr. Speaker, note those numbers, huh? Please note those numbers. The world economy is expected to grow over the next 2 years by roughly 3.2%, which is important when we go to speak about our local economy. Closer to home, the International Monetary Fund's Regional Economic Outlook RIO, published in April of this year, and I'm looking specifically to the one for the Western Hemisphere, which includes Dominica and the Caribbean. And this report states, and I quote, Latin America and the Caribbean region has shown remarkable resilience in the face of recent global challenges, rebounding more strongly than expected from the pandemic. Growth is now moderating from 2.3% to 2% in 2024, end quote. Mr. Speaker, I first wish to note from that quotation the words recent global challenges. Mr. Speaker, here it is, a renowned, reputable institution like the International Monetary Fund. In their writing, they're making a reference while explaining the economic performance of a region. They're making reference to the fact that recent global challenges has impacted on the final outcome. And Mr. Speaker, just a quick one on the side. I'm pulling that out, let me tell you why. So often I listen in Dominica, and I hear people saying and blaming this Labour Party government for giving information. So for instance, which is the norm as we have seen from the IMF report, it is normal that if you're saying that something, or an economy in this case, perform in a particular way, to say why. What is it that influenced that final outcome? But you know when we do that, you know what people are saying? You would swear to God that we as a Labour Party invented Maria, COVID, Erica. I don't understand that. But Mr. Speaker, now I'm bringing that to their attention. I'm sure we won't see a repeat of this in this honorable house. So I can move on. Mr. Speaker, I refer to a table published in the IMF's April 2024 RIO, and the title of that table is, I quote, Western Hemisphere GDP Growth, end quote. Mr. Speaker, the data in that table is from 2022 to 2023. In that table, Dominica is listed as one of the countries, Western Hemisphere GDP. No, in that table, we are part of a grouping, called Caribbean Tourism Dependent. And there are 10 other countries with us in that grouping. So, Mr. Speaker, what it is they're doing, like countries or countries with similar economies are being grouped together. So we are part of the Caribbean Tourism Dependent grouping. Mr. Speaker, look at the economic performance of our local economy when you look at that table. In that table, Dominica's economy is estimated to have grown in 2023 by 4.7%. 4.7%. According to the IMF RIO, real GDP in Dominica is estimated at 4.7 in 2023. And Mr. Speaker, irrespective of the driving forces to achieve this performance, no one, I say, can say that this is not in fact strong growth. Of interest, in my humble opinion, is the average rate of growth for that same grouping, Caribbean Tourism Dependent. In 2023, that average growth was 2.3%. Mr. Speaker, it is clear that compared to the average performance of the grouping, the Dominican economy is doing well, and we grew faster than the average. So the average rate of growth of the regional grouping is 4.7, it's 3.5, we in Dominica, 4.7. According to the data, Dominica outperformed half of the other countries in the grouping. For emphasis, and they're saying to me that nothing is happening.
Translate.
And they say to me that nothing is happening. And let me tell you. For emphasis, I must add that this data is from a highly reputable international organization, and it's not from the government of Dominica. I had no part to play in those numbers, and neither did anybody on this side of the House or any person working in the public sector. Mr. Speaker, you be the judge. Having been presented with the data, first in the budget address, and again, does that sound to you like an economy that is not doing well? The picture being painted about gloom and doom is really getting tired and annoying. Remember, these aren't my numbers. In preparation to stand here and support the budget, I am repeating the numbers presented by the Honorable Minister for Finance and expounding a little further. Further, Mr. Speaker, the IMF's Rio is projecting strong growth for Dominica between 2024 and 2025. It is expected that our growth in that two-year period is going to average 4.5%. And Mr. Speaker, anywhere you turn, anywhere you look, that is strong growth. Mr. Speaker, interestingly, the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is also confirming the expansion of our local economy. In the annual report, in the Annual Economic and Financial Review 2023, this is what the ECCB's assessment read, and I quote, "The economy of the Commonwealth of Dominica sustained its growth momentum in 2023, although at a more tempered pace. Real GDP grew by 4.7% in 2023, compared with an increase of 5.6% in 2022. The expansion in 2023 was largely driven by the implementation of public sector investment projects, recovery in tourism sector, and strong growth in the services sector," end quote. This Labour government is working. It is in black and white, Mr. Speaker, printed text by recognized, reputable organizations. The same ECCB report concluded, and I quote, "Despite challenges, the outlook remains optimistic." Can I repeat that, even if it's just written once in the text? Despite challenges, the outlook remains optimistic. This is bolstered by the anticipated full rebound of stayover arrivals, the implementation of key investment plans, we know what those are, and a focus on sound fiscal management. The ongoing construction of the new international airport and hotel projects, the transition to geothermal energy, and the continued efforts to build resilient infrastructure are expected to yield long-term growth dividends, end quote. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure I can finish with the economy, you know. I think the same way I can find the time to go and do some research online, they must can do the same, you know. I think people are deliberately trying to mislead the people of Dominica. But let me tell you, Mr. Speaker, we on this side of the House will not entertain. We will do what we have to do. Mr. Speaker, we were put here by the people of Dominica, and we will continue to represent them, and we will continue to show up the lies and the dishonesty, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I found it very unsettling when it appeared that a member from the other side of the House was challenging the projections of the IMF. I think we should be careful with that. We should not, by words or action, even appear to place long-standing reputable organizations like the fund in disrepute. And Mr. Speaker, I feel so very strongly, and I think the members should be cautioned for that. But Mr. Speaker, I'm not going to say things are perfect. We are growing, our economy is buoyant, and we are experiencing relatively strong growth. But I know we are not perfect. I mean, what is perfection? Only God is perfect. That said, perfection is something we all try to achieve, and this Labour Party government is no different. We recognize as a government that we have done a lot, and the evidence of this abounds. But we know that there's still a lot more to be done for the good people of Dominica. And this is exactly what we have been doing and we will continue to do. My good people of Dominica, be assured, this Labour Party government got you. You are safe with Labour. I mean, Senator Paris tell me to say that. And that, Mr. Speaker, is a reason that in spite of all of the challenges, in spite of those exogenous shocks, be it COVID, be it weather systems, like hurricanes and tropical storms, imported inflation, this government has never been daunted. Instead, we are staying focused, keeping our eye on the prize and remembering our promises to our people, moving forward, creating dynamic Dominica. And this is what the budget was about. Mr. Speaker, we know what we are doing. We know what we are doing is bearing fruit because we can see it. Somebody was talking about what they can see. We can see too, Mr. Speaker. I have glasses so I can see even better. But, Mr. Speaker, we can see it too. And, Mr. Speaker, not just our neighbors, not just our partners, but we in Dominica, if we are honest, we too can see the development of this country. I mean, who can doubt what impacts an international airport can have on a country, especially one like ours? Or a marina, Mr. Speaker. Should you go to the north and speak to some of the young men in Pace, you can ask them if you don't believe me. Or the hotels, Mr. Speaker. Do a poll one day of those employed at any of the hotels in Dominica and let them tell you the impact of those jobs on their respective lives, their children, and the rest of their families. Mr. Speaker, what the data shows can be confirmed by the use of anecdotal evidence. Different things that people can see happening in the economy that explains the story. Let me point out the anecdotal evidence that rubbishes this suggestion that nothing is happening in Dominica. Mr. Speaker, I've already mentioned in this honorable chamber that, in my opinion, my biggest impact as a parliamentary representative thus far is matching people with jobs. Mr. Speaker, I am getting jobs for my people. I don't know, they can come with their list about who closed down. They're not telling you why the people closed down, if they migrate. And more importantly, they're not bringing the longer list of the new businesses that had formed. And let me tell you why I'm saying that, Mr. Speaker. And that means, remember the last thing I said, I am getting jobs for my people. And Mr. Speaker, you know what that means? And that means that jobs are in fact available because they're getting hired. And in the private sector too, I must add. There is a reason why businesses are hiring people. If one would say that in some cases they are replacing people, so it's only replacing people then. So while one business is replacing someone, more often than not, that someone is going to another job somewhere else because in economics of what rational expectation, no rational person is going to give up a job and sit at home. So, Mr. Speaker, I think some people need to be a little more on the ground, but let's move on. Honorable member for the Margot constituency, I hope you were listening. I hear you mention unemployment. Try walking through some of our communities. I'm sure it's no different in your constituency. I know from my experience and from what I hear from my colleagues, you walk into a number of communities and there's no one during the working hours of the day. Why do you think? Really?
Really, really,
So
actually.
you have two eyes, you have extra eyes, and so do I. Mr. Speaker, let me tell you why, because I don't know what they're breathing over there, but I know what I'm breathing over here. I'm breathing fresh air. And let me tell you something, Mr. Speaker, and I've said this before in this honorable house, and not one of them said something. You know why? Because they put it in their presentation, Jordi, today, and because I am addressing it, you can go, they grumbling. Because Mr. Speaker, I've said this here before, I'm sure you remember.
Yes.
You go through a number of these communities, including mine, and I will tell you something. There's nobody on the block in working hours. Puis tout le monde qui travaille. Everybody's working. Everybody's. Let me tell you what I found myself doing on Sunday. Mr. Speaker, on Sunday evening, I put a WhatsApp status instead of preparing for the house, Mola Kamete, I'm there putting WhatsApp status on my phone. My dear constituent, I remember the words, but my dear constituents, if you're interested in a cleaning position, please text, and I gave them the constituency phone number to text. Let me tell you something, I couldn't do my work now. My people were responding. And you know what was interesting? A number of them were looking for second jobs. This was actually a full-time position, two full-time positions that I was getting linked up for, right? A number of them wanted part-time. But Mr. Speaker, everybody in every part of the world moonlighting me, and have people in Dominica moonlighting. Everybody doing two jobs. And here it is, my honest people were saying to me, Miss Bing, price is high. We know it's imported inflation, it's not scary that make it's not the Labour Party government that make prices go up. And that's why we put the thing in the budget saying, globally, the rate of inflation is falling. Let us see what's going to happen when we go to the grocery. So, Mr. Speaker, there are jobs available. Or maybe the members on the other side of the house is saying I'm more lucky than them. Because I have a number of people, I have an organization that's waiting to speak to me after budget for us to do something together as it relates to jobs. I don't know about them. I can tell you about me. And I'm sure if you think back in your memory, you remember I've been on this jobs thing. Mr. Speaker, that is my little niche for now. Jobs, jobs, jobs. And Mr. Speaker, I am grateful to all of those who have helped me, and I pray they'll continue to help me to make a difference in the lives of my constituents by helping me to get them employed so they too can feel like the rest of us, independent and look after themselves. Mr. Speaker, on the same note of employment, I you know why businesses operate, right? I just want to make it clear. We all know that businesses are driven by the profit motive. People only go into business to make money. Those people aren't trying to make me happy. They're not hiring my people because they want me to smile. They exist because they want to make money for themselves, their principals, their shareholders. They're hiring people because they need people. And why do they need people? I would say that some of them are clearly expanding, maybe. Because I am convinced that we're rational people in Dominica. People are not leaving jobs to go and sit at their homes, Mr. Speaker. Nobody does that. Mr. Speaker, on that same thing, I implore the other members of the House, we must be more responsible and stop deliberately painting a picture of Dominica that is not real. It cannot be because it sounds groovy to stand up and say that, oh, let's be serious about this is important, and then when you finish, you're saying things that you know is not true. No, we have to do better than that. We have to up our game in this honorable chamber. That is my humble opinion, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, at this point, I wish to spend some time speaking about just a few of the major investments this government will undertake to reshape our economic landscape consistent with the theme of the budget. I quote, partnering to build the platform for sustainable growth and development, end quote. Let's consider the construction of the International Airport in Wesley, the largest capital project ever undertaken in this country, Mr. Speaker. This project is more than just infrastructure development. It is a beacon of progress, connectivity, and economic growth for our country. More than that, it represents the prospect, my new favorite word, jobs, and opportunity for our people in communities across Dominica. The international airport will also benefit the tourism industry. With an international airport, we can expect a surge in tourists eager to explore unique attractions of our country. Mr. Speaker, can you imagine when that airport opens and we see all of these direct flights from North America and Europe? Mr. Speaker, finally, people will be able to get to Dominica in 1 day. In 1 day. Mr. Speaker, again, you know what people were saying. I'm going to start to ignore some of it. Mr. Speaker, we're already seeing that the construction of the airport is providing immediate benefits to our people. It is creating hundreds of jobs. We heard the details from Honorable Grant, the parliamentary representative for the Wesley constituency.
30 more minutes. 3-0.
I'm good for now. Mr. Speaker, the nerve of some people for a parrot to stand here in confidence and to say his constituency is booming, businesses at an all-time high, everybody's working, land prices are going up. Mr. Speaker, who better to give an assessment of what's going on in their constituency? But we're too forward in this house sometimes, Mr. Speaker. After all, Margaret Sanu, I can't believe this. Mr. Speaker, it is my intention to get on the ground with my constituents to explore and take advantage of the emerging possibilities to ensure that they too can benefit from the lucrative and promising prospects that will come with the construction of our international airport. In the meantime, through you, Mr. Speaker, I say to my constituents, let us prepare for the range of opportunities that will become available upon completion of this milestone project. Maybe our beekeepers, I have two of them in my party group, Mr. Speaker, my chairman Rivera and Ole. Maybe it is time for them to start thinking about expanding and the packaging of their product for sale at maybe a strictly local shop at the international airport. We have agro-processors in the constituency. Tremors Punch, I'm sure it can find its way on the shelf of those stores inside of the airport, as well as many, many other products from agro-processors within the Roseland constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'll even say, not just the airport shops, huh? Once we have direct flights, let us begin to plan. Let us get our products to the US, Canada, Europe. Mr. Shillingford, Gregory Shillingford, we started that discussion about how to get our products in North America and Europe. Let us make it happen. Let's have a follow-up discussion on this. Another major project presented in this year's budget as one of the transformational projects is the Cubridge Marina. Not only will this project dramatically and drastically change the landscape of the tourism industry locally, but it will no doubt quickly become a major foreign exchange earner for Dominica once built and operational. And again, Mr. Speaker, all I can see is jobs, jobs, jobs. And I dare someone to say to me, I dare someone on the other side of the house to say to me that you're not seeing jobs, jobs, jobs. This is all they say, voice of Mati. Scratch, 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 scratch. I withdraw that, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I call on all, I'm sorry.
Yes, honorable member, take it easy, take it easy.
Oh, the senator from Margaret, you don't understand Creole, no? We'll send you to a class, don't worry. Because just now I withdrew it. I call on all Dominicans to embrace the potential, that the marina holds, and let us all work together to make it a success. Mr. Speaker, I'm excited about the International Airport and the Cambridge Marina. So I'm sure you can imagine my excitement about a project that's much closer to home. Of course, I speak of the new cruise ship village to be located at the Woodbridge Bay Port in Focole. I am rocking just thinking about the opportunities for my constituents during the construction phase and when it becomes operational. In the budget address, the Honorable Finance Minister indicated, and I quote, "A private developer is also undertaking preparatory work for the development of a new cruise ship village at the Woodbridge Bay Port. This village will cater for cruise ships, ferry services, and duty-free shopping." Mr. Speaker, you don't know. I will be monitoring and awaiting updates on that report. As I can already see, we talk about seeing, I can see too. As I can already see how it will not only transform our increasingly important tourism industry, but also my constituency in more ways than one. And as I think back of those cruise ship villages that I know in the region, I can just imagine what my constituency is going to look like. Mr. Speaker, speaking about sports Zante, can you imagine a mini one or even a bigger one? Mr. Speaker, I'm excited and I am, rocking. Yes, I'm rocking. I see the opportunities for my small businesses, for my guys in my neighboring communities. For Cole right there, people from Mount Daniel, you can come down too. Lower Goodwill, got a village, Tarish. I mean, everybody, peace, come. Good things, talk from, I didn't call all. Good things are coming your way. Your Labour Party, we got you. And thanks, Senator Paris, for making me remember to say you're safe with Labour. The Finance Minister, while highlighting the medium to long-term benefits of such a facility, indicated it will increase opportunities for investments and the growth of small and large businesses. Our small agro processors, remember what I said about the international airport? This too is another opportunity for you. Also, Mr. Speaker, there is no doubt that the new smart cargo port at Donkey Beach announced in the budget will surely transform that area as well, improve the aesthetic, and significantly increase the efficiency of our port operations. But I'm more interested in how it will transform the lives and livelihoods of persons. Mr. Speaker, remember the Rosa North boundary? It's right there by Auto Trade, that bridge. So that's just across from the ring. So I claim in that one too. Honorable member from Maho, we discussed this already. You know, I know you don't mind. No, Kasani don't talk for the honorable member for the Maho constituency. He doesn't mind sharing with me. We're colleagues, okay? Doesn't mind sharing with me. Mr. Speaker, I am not shy to say it. I am encouraging the people from Pottersville, Goodwill, Gutter Village, Tarish Pit, Yampis, Bellevue Road, Focole, Stock Farm, Mont Daniel, Louisville. Let us do everything we can to fit into that significant national project. But remember too, the port used to be my constituency. Traditionally, it's from Pottersville and the neighboring communities who worked on the port. We're not letting it go. We're going with it wherever it's going, Mr. Speaker. We're going with it. Just as I embrace the construction of the Goodwill Secondary School, ensuring that my young men and women are in a place to benefit, so too we will jointly, my constituents and I, we will jointly prepare for the construction of these major projects. Oh yes, Mr. Speaker, I see jobs, jobs, jobs. Rosanov, yes. Beyond a doubt, beyond a doubt, these new projects, like I said, Jobs, jobs, jobs. Jobs will be created for people who work directly in the actual construction of those projects. Jobs will be created for the people who are producing inputs for the people to work, like the people doing concrete blocks, people doing gravel. Mr. Speaker, when these people are paid, they know we'll have more money to spend on food, entertainment, on clothes, stimulating activity, and creating further employment in other sectors, Mr. Speaker. More importantly, when completed, they will facilitate diversification, future production, and what, Mr. Speaker? Even more jobs, jobs, jobs. This is how this Roosevelt-Skerrit-led Labour Party government is building dynamic Dominica. And I assure you, the people of the Roseville North, we will not be left behind. Mr. Speaker, I'm excited about the advances we are making in the construction of geothermal energy plants and the transmission line stretching from Loda to Fokole. The minister responsible for this has already shared everything. The new transmission network from Loda to Fokole, that is what I'm interested in, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know what it is. I have jobs, jobs, jobs on my mind. I have been advised that a contract will soon be awarded within the next month for that project to an international firm with extensive experience with high voltage networks. I have been assured that some of the civil works will be subcontracted to local construction firms and individuals. Rosanov, let's keep our eye on that one because we are looking for jobs, jobs, jobs. Let us throw our support behind this project, especially my good people of Fokole. Remember when I stood here in May 2024 in this honorable chamber, and I said, once the geothermal plant and the new transmission lines are commissioned, what is that going to mean for you, the residents of Fokole? The diesel engines and generators that we're hearing now, those will be a thing of the past. Let us support your government. Your government has your back. Your government is looking out for you. Soon, you will soon be able to enjoy a more peaceful and quiet community for Fokole. These major investments we know will revolutionize our energy sector, reduce the cost of electricity, and certainly put us on a track for growth in businesses and new investments. Jobs, jobs, jobs. Indeed, like the international airport, this is a flagship project that has the potential to change the economic trajectory of our country, and this is why your Labour government is moving forward with it. Mr. Speaker, these major projects are nothing short of amazing and speak to a government willing to make big moves now to secure the future prosperity of our people and our country. These projects are the result of visionary leadership, bold decision making. The major investments this Labour government is making today are not just about immediate gains. They are about securing a prosperous and sustainable future for generations to come. But I will still hear gloom and doom, especially they doing it. Mr. Speaker, I urge us all in this honorable chamber to embrace this transformative journey with optimism and determination. I want to turn my attention quickly, Mr. Speaker, to two major projects in the Ministry of Labour, Public Service Reform, Social Partnership, Entrepreneurship, and Small Business Development. Mr. Speaker, this Labour government is committed to ensuring fairness within the public service, and we will continue the implementation of the organizational review and reclassification exercise. I'm happy to report, Mr. Speaker, that our government has been moving with speed to implement the recommendations of the consultancy. We have prioritized strategic actions following a period of intense stakeholder consultations, which involved public officers, Committee of Permanent Secretaries, and the unions. Mr. Speaker, the new compensation structure was implemented in December. We have also commenced the reclassification structures and positions in the public service, starting with teachers, police officers, and nurses, which has resulted in the upgrade of a number of positions. I am pleased that a number of public officers, police, will be promoted and witness even more permanent appointments. Mr. Speaker, you know the Prime Minister had given that assurance that people were going to get appointed. And Mr. Speaker, I am happy to say, which I'm sure you know already, they are happening. And they're happening quickly too, huh? They are happening. Mr. Speaker, I can't move so quickly though. Over the past 20 months or so, I have been a frequent visitor at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, and of late, the Focola Health Center, mainly to lend support to family, friends, and constituents. Over that period, I have witnessed the love, commitment, and professionalism of the medical teams and the others working at the hospital. So today, I take the opportunity to recognize them, as well as all other medical professionals, for all they are doing to get our sick well and back on their feet. Mr. Speaker, I was so excited that there's so many new positions in the nursing structure that will soon be available and facilitate greater mobility within the existing structure. To all of you who are going to apply, I wish you well. Thank you for looking after my constituents. Thank you for always, always, always being so caring, so loving. God bless you. Mr. Speaker, I must speak of the significant work being championed by my ministry along with contributions from other government stakeholders as it relates to the migration to e-services. Mr. Speaker, did you know that you can just log in right now to e-services portal from your laptop or your phone? You knew that? Mr. Speaker, eservices.gov.dm. eservices.gov.dm. Once you create your personal account, you will have access to pay for about 100 services from your device, from your phone. Let me give you a quick snapshot of a few of them. They gave me too many. You can apply for producer's license, Ministry of Agriculture, register a cooperative, Ministry of Culture, apply for the use of a government education building, Ministry of Education, apply for a broker liquor license, Ministry of Finance, apply for lease of land, Ministry of Housing, apply for service operations, Ministry of Governance. Where's mine? Apply for special license or fiscal incentive concessions license, and that will be my ministry. Apply for an immunization vaccination card, Ministry of Health. Apply for a site pass or to work in nature, Ministry of Tourism. Mr. Speaker, this portal has been designed with the focus to propel the public service into the digital age. You see how we move in and we with the times, Mr. Speaker? We're modernizing everything, you know. Don't make people fool you and say we're not doing anything, you know. You have to learn how to listen and not hear on some days. And I'm saying that's the end goal, Mr. Speaker, is to promote a new customer-centric approach to service delivery through its technology and user-friendly interface. Let's go to my Rosenhof constituency a little more. It would be remiss of me not to speak of the most significant project for us, the construction of the much long-awaited Goodwood Secondary School. This project represents a substantial investment into the future of our youth, providing a state-of-the-art educational facility that includes modern classrooms, science labs, a library, computer labs, and recreational spaces. But, Mr. Speaker, we know what's going in there. The Education Minister, I have spoken many times, everybody's spoken about it. It's what I'm interested in. Mr. Speaker, once that school is being commissioned, our new National Center of Excellence for Technical and Vocational Training will go a long way in preparing our youth, especially mine in the neighborhood, because it's not far for them to walk to. Our youth, it's a national thing, like I said, for those exciting opportunities that the transformational projects will provide. We getting ready because we on a platform. Up we go in, Mr. Speaker. It's a springboard. All of these projects in this budget is our springboard because we go into that higher growth path. Dynamic Dominica is almost at our reach. Mr. Speaker, for me, the construction of the Guru Secondary School is more than just a building project. It is an investment in the intellectual and social capital of my constituents and the youth in general by providing them with the state-of-the-art facilities for a technical and vocational center of excellence. I am sure that this Labour Party government, which I am proud to be a part of, is definitely delivering on its promises to lay the foundation for a brighter and more prosperous future for our young people. Mr. Speaker, I'm elated beyond words to be directly associated with this project, and as usual, I lend my full support to the lead minister, the Minister of Education, and her team to see the successful completion, opening, and operation of the new school in Goodwill. Mr. Speaker, I can't end this short discussion on my flagship project in my constituency without expressing my sincere gratitude to the government and people of the People's Republic of China. A true friend indeed. This government, the government of the People's Republic of China, has stood with us, Mr. Speaker, and has stood with us for a long time and allowed us, 20 years for sure, the Minister of Foreign Affairs is reminding me, and has allowed us to make tangible impacts, tangible progressive moves as it relates to building our infrastructure. And to them, I say a big thank you, especially for my school. Thank you on behalf of the constituency. Thank you for what you've done for us as a country, and certainly thank you for what you're doing in my constituency. I also want to recognize and thank the contractor, Caribbean Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, for their commitment and speed to deliver our new school. Mr. Speaker, allow me to turn very briefly to the National Employment Program, which has been in the spotlight following false claims about the future of that program. Thankfully, during the Prime Minister's last press conference, July 15, 2024, he set the record straight. This is what the Prime Minister said. I quote, "I want to say to the Dominican people that the NEP is playing a crucial role in the advancement of the country, and there are different components to it. If you should ask me, the beautification and cleaning is one of the most important tasks, and I will be the first to accept, and we've started the process of examining the NEP with a view to improving its efficiency. I believe that through efficiency, we can reduce the cost of the NEP, but not necessarily reducing on the NEP in any significant way. We will continue to examine it, and we will improve it." Mr. Speaker, this Labour government continues to put people first. We understand the importance of that program to so many of our single mothers and other persons in the respective communities. I recall when that rumor started that the Labour Party was going to get rid of the NEP program. I got so many calls from single moms, nervous. "Ms. B, what are we going to do?" And I assured them, "Your Labour Party, we've got you. We've got you, because we know this is their only source of income." Mr. Speaker, in this country, we really should be more sensitive to the plight of others and not cause emotional stress to persons simply for political advantage. To all of my NEP teams under the beautification programs, I have 3 groups: Fokole, Stock Farm/Tariff Street, and one in Yampis. Those in the community assisting me with constituents, those within the public service and the private sector, I applaud you for the hard work that you do. Your PAREP appreciates you. Your government appreciates you. Mr. Speaker, there are too many names to call, okay? All I can say to them is, keep shining. We appreciate your hard work, and we appreciate you. Mr. Speaker, I have identified the major transformative projects in this year's budget that we are confident will create that platform. In discussion of each, you would have noticed I tried to take some time to point out how it would impact on my constituency and what was there for my constituents. At this point, I wish to share through you, Mr. Speaker, that the Roseau North constituency office has moved to a new central location at 30 Federation Drive in Goodwill. Mr. Speaker, you can't miss it. It's like three lots down from the credit union in Roseau. We did a post on Facebook, we did via WhatsApp status, and we included it on our flyer once we commenced our uniform and books program. So a lot of people may be aware of it. But in the event you are not aware of it, my sincere apologies. We're at 30 Federation Drive, and we're waiting to welcome you. Maybe I can take the opportunity through you, Mr. Speaker, to let them know we can also be contacted on telephone number 295-1118. My dear constituents, this is your office, our office. Do come visit us. The new location will allow us to offer new services, Mr. Speaker. And quite frankly, I'm excited about
5 more minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the honorable member gets an additional 15, 10 more minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I move to second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the Honorable Minister be given an additional 10 minutes. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Honorable Minister, you are given an additional 10 minutes. Your mic, yes.
Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I was saying that the new location will allow us to offer new services. And this is one of the things I'm excited about again. Mr. Speaker, from my presentation today, and before this in this honorable chamber, you know what I have on my mind: jobs, jobs, jobs for my people. We are in the process of creating an innovation hub with 15 computers, thanks to the support of the NTRC. Before going further, I want to convey my sincere appreciation to the board of the NTRC, the executive director and his team for their guidance and their support, and equally important to my two colleagues, Honorable Grant and Honorable Lockhart, for their support in this initiative. In July 2023, the staff of the Digital Transformation Project, shout out to those who facilitated me, my friend and former colleague, Robert Tong and Dr. Jermaine Japierre, they organized a town hall for me for Work Online Dominica, which was very well attended. I remember that interest, and Mr. Tong is willing to work with me so that we can find a local person within the Roseau North constituency to help facilitate some of that training. My dear constituents, we are going to give you opportunities to earn more money from your home. Mr. Speaker, I am doing that for my people because everybody needs extra income. Thankfully, we have great resource people within the constituency to assist in other training programs. I have my Chairman Revere, Merita Hyacinth, and Ms. Ole. They have all offered and agreed to assist in organizing and facilitating training programs at the hub. We will also begin discussions with the adult education unit as well. Before I go further, I wish to place on record my thanks to my team for your ideas, your energy and time to create that space, which I am confident will build skills and make our people from the Roseau North constituency even more marketable. Following the election, Mr. Speaker, I was approached by a couple of people regarding training programs that would help to uplift the people of the Roseau North constituency. From the reintroduction, of parenting programs, Mrs. Spear, you were the first one to talk to me about it. That's going to be our project in this fiscal year. From the reintroduction of parenting skills, to introduction to computers to make people more marketable when they go for job interviews, to preparing people for job interviews, Mr. Speaker. As I am told that that is a challenge. One of the people who partner with me to get jobs for my people, one of them has mentioned interview skills is an issue. I know when I first started, I did some with my constituents. I think I need to bring it up a notch because I've not done it recently. I think I need to put on some programs. Once we are through our uniform and school program, we need to start organizing some of those training sessions. My dear constituents, I am open. I'm open to hearing from you what training programs you think will benefit you as well. For Kole Fishers, your project is in the budget in this fiscal year. I was assured last week at a meeting chaired by the Honorable Minister for Agriculture and the Honorable Minister for the Blue Economy that their PIU team discussed the project with you, my Fokole officials, and they came back and they told me you agreed to the scope. The project is going to include the retrofitting of the existing facility to accommodate a fish vending area. These are the details I was given. Replace existing eastern doors and windows to the front entrance with a shutter that looking like the rows of fisheries. That sounds exciting. Erection of concrete workstations for fish preparation. We are moving on up. Necessary plumbing and electricals, the normal, and the construction of an office and storeroom. Once those designs are ready, we are coming to you to show them to you, don't worry, because we're moving forward with that project. Honorable Defoe has already agreed. We're going to come to talk to you as soon as those designs are ready. And guess what? I've taken this one on as well. I will be meeting with the Ministry of Agriculture once a month. There's a group of us with interest in these projects. Once a month, we're going to meet to make sure we can deliver to you, our fisher folks, in the Fokole constituency. But you know, we need to start thinking bigger. We need to start thinking of creating a fish fry event, something that adds value to the fish. My friend Derrickson Charles, let's discuss this. Let us make it happen. Honorable Speaker, housing, no, we have our own thing too. Housing remains one of the main challenges in my constituency. And I was so happy when my sister, Honorable Skerrit, in her presentation, she has no idea the copious notes that I was taking. Thank you, Madam Minister. I am happy to report to my constituents that the budget includes an allocation for the rehabilitation of post-Maria housing. My constituents were coming to you. She's smiling and nodding her head. This is all you needed to know. Thank you, Honorable Skerrit. Be assured that I'm already in discussion even before now with the minister and her permanent secretary on this. We also heard from the Honorable Minister for Housing that funds are available so that we can ensure the complete eradication of pit latrines. I know I still have some in my constituency. My constituents, we have a new and better organized office. Stop by. Let us know if you need help. If you have a pit latrine and you need us to help you with that, come talk to us. We'll set you up. Honorable Minister, thank you for that. We need it, and we look forward to working with you as one of our projects. We agreed yesterday we're going to do something. That'll be one of our projects we'll work together on. Thank you. So my constituents, come visit us. I will work for you, continue to work for you. Mr. Speaker, we'll also undertake some small projects to address drainage issues in a few areas, including Pottersville, while implementing a few programs geared at assisting the vulnerable among us. I know my time is running out. Let me quickly congratulate some people in my constituency, Mr. Speaker. Congratulations to the small business owners who benefited from the digital grants. And I want to say to the other small business owners, let's keep our ears on the ground.
8 more minutes, so you have some
I'll
time.
finish quickly.
8 more minutes.
There's more money to be had for small businesses to modernize their businesses. Once that information is available, I'll put it on my Facebook page, put it on our WhatsApp status. So those people who don't hear it on the news, hopefully will hear it. I will also see if we can get some flyers when people come to the office, we can share that with them as well. Mr. Speaker, the last carnival season was big for us in Rosenhof. As you know, our very own Kiana Dyer from Mont Daniel captured the coveted Miss Dominica title. And we wish her all the best. Although I am confident that she's going to return from Antigua with yet another prestigious title following the Miss JC's pageant. We also celebrated with Princess Blanchard, whose dad is from Pottersville. So we're claiming her too, godfather from Pottersville. So we're claiming her too. As well as the first runner-up, our Yampi's princess, Miss James. I want to congratulate our Lapo Cabwit star from Gutter Village, Dede Davidson, Dede Charles, who was recognized and received a Golden Drum Award last weekend. I also want to congratulate Merita Hyacinth, someone in my executive, Rosenhof executive, who was elected as JCI West Indies president, the first Dominican to hold that position. Mr. Speaker, within the constituency in the upcoming fiscal year, as I end, Mr. Speaker, permit me through you to say a big thank you to my Rosenhof team, the members of the executive, other committees, office staff, and all those who reach out to me daily, not just to say hi, but also to send me love and prayers. I pray that the good Lord will continue to bless and guide all of you. Honorable Lockhart wants me to add her to that. May the good Lord bless and guide you always also. Mr. Speaker, as I wrap up, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Honorable Pinard for his continued invaluable support in the ministry. Together, we are moving the ministry forward. Allow me to thank PS Gloria Joseph for her leadership and other senior members of staff, A.O. Baptiste, Acting Commissioner of Labor, Frages, Deputy Labor Commissioner Packett, Ms. Ambo, and the rest of the team who have worked together for the last fiscal year to ensure our successes. I certainly look forward to your hard work and continued commitment as we move to a new budget year. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, there is no doubt of my unwavering support to this budget. I thank you.